Hello there, boys and girls. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be working on the blue black tip tail. Now, before I get started, I do want to let everybody know that this is a part 2. So if you have not caught up, I do highly recommend getting to the first part of this. So the first thing I do want to let you know is that I'm wearing a lavalier mic, which, you know, if you've watched any of my other stuff, you know that I have a mic. So thought I'd go over the basics real quick. If you forgot, I know it's been like 2 or 3 weeks since I've done this, but first of all, these are cut out. Obviously, if you saw that, they still probably need to be redone, and I had to hunt this thing down because this is the proper pattern to all of this. So all I gotta really do is just line it up and see if it's the correct one. This is the correct one, but it just needs a little fixing. As you see right here, this is the right one. It's just a little janky. I may even shorten it a little bit more to match up with this one. It's, you know, as you saw, it is small right there. All I gotta do is do the same thing. We'll take that off, and this should match up right here pretty decently. But again, like I said, more than likely, yeah, see, I should be able to just go from here to here and just straighten that out. It's probably what I'll end up doing. Go from, let's see, this is the bottom, no, this is the top, that's the bottom, and what I want to do is, this needs to, at least on one end, it needs to straighten up, and as long as it straightens up on one end, that's all that honestly matters to me. So at the moment, this one straightens up the best, which means this needs to be pushed all the way there, and it should be one straight edge, but unfortunately the way that I cut it, not in the last video, I've got to now reconfigure just a little bit of it, but it's not too much, it's not that big of a deal. And now we're going to flip it like this, so I can do, no, we got to keep it like that, so that way we can do this. We can figure out where the tip of it's going to be, and this side to that side's going to do. I'm going to try to get to the best of our ability. So you see that? That's where you want to cut that line at. No, a rotary cutter will not work. Always remember, when trimming on faux fur, you want very, very sharp scissors. You want basically the equivalent of butcher scissors. You want to be able to cut through meat. I keep saying cut through lately, and I'm wanting to go cut through red tape. When doing this, you're probably going to end up with a lot, I mean a lot of faux fur. It's going to get everywhere too, so pre-warning, that's going to happen regardless. Hold. Okay. Oh, this is not going to do it. I'm not going to use that. Tip of the day, get chalk markers or get literal chalk and get one of these little rinky-dink ones. You can usually find them anywhere. Let me see the direction. You want to make sure whatever the direction of your other faux fur is, that's this right here, go in the same direction of it. If you don't, you're going to piss yourself off so quick. But instead, what we're going to do, just going to cut that off right there. It'll be way easier if I just do this real quick. I probably do have other black faux fur somewhere else that's a lot smaller than this. It's the same stuff. Wouldn't even doubt if it's cut off the same what you call it? I used to know the name. I know the name. Give me a minute, I'll remember it. Bolt. I know I'd remember it. See, told you. Bolt. So a lot of times when you cut along that, when you cut along faux fur like that, you're going to get a lot of this. It looks like a dog is shedding. I love this hobby, but at the same time, I learned real quick that your room's going to look like you're never going to fully get it up. It's like anytime you've ever owned an animal, it's always going to look like you just have a dog somewhere. That's literally what it looks like. Okay. So what you need to understand real quick is you're definitely going to be doing this twice. So, see, faux fur in my mouth. So you're going to do one side here, one side there. So, and don't try to do anything where it's like, oh well, I can make a curve like this, and I'm going to cut it, and then this part, and I'm going to have this part stitched. Don't do that. Don't freaking do that. The biggest reason is, okay, you can have the outer walls like you see right here. This is the outer walls. You can have these sort of curved to some extent. So you could do a pattern that looks sort of like, let's say for instance, I should, there's no reason, I can draw on this. So let's say for instance, you want to do a pattern like that. Just make sure that when you cut this out, that this is stitchable. This is if you're brand new to sewing, okay? That's why I'm saying that, because if you try to stitch this circular part onto something else that's not circular or that doesn't match up with this, you're gonna piss yourself off. It's a lot more than it looks, and it's a lot more complicated. Trust me on this. I've tried, and you don't want to do that yet. But if you're making like a tip or something, like where you see this like half circle kind of looking thing, this half ovalish, yeah, that's fine. Doing that if it's at the tip of the tail. A buddy of mine, I made him a tail a little while ago, like about a year and a half ago, and he tells me he took it to conventions and he loves it, period. Why did I say that? And also, if you're going to be using a lot of black fur or a lot of dark fur, and you definitely, like I said, get yourself some chalk. I have like an entire box, like I said in my last video. So we're going to cut right here, all the way down. I'm going to call this part A. It's going to be part B. Now you want to have a differential, what am I fucking, I was just watching House, I didn't mean to say differential. You want to have a difference between these, because if you don't, it's going to look really messed up, and it's going to be really janky, and you're going to be like, well damn. And you want to try to keep it as close to the original as possible, so we're going to try to be like right here. And you know what we can also do, just to be safe, this is what I would suggest, line it up as best as you can. You probably won't be perfect, but I mean, nobody's ever perfect with this kind of stuff. It's all art. I consider it art, at least. Some fur is easier to draw on others, some isn't. Some faux tails are annoying, and they people are like, will you make me a top and bottom tail where this part is where you have a top part like this? Okay, on camera that's hard to see, I'm sorry. Okay, like this is the top and this is the bottom, and you got to connect it up at the top right here, and you're like, I hate you so much right now. Because let me tell you, it's a pain in the ass to make an over-under tail. It's such a pain in the ass. I don't mind. It took me a minute to figure it out finally, where I had to do straight down the middle, and I was like, how do I do this? I mean, yeah, I could actually make tails out of just like this, like looking alone, and cut it into two fourths. My God, I will never do a quadruple over under, because then I'll just be like, I'd rather jump off a bridge. This is why you got to do that. This would all come off regardless, and I'm still pulling some off, so you really got to be careful with how you do this, because you're going to constantly have some come off, and you don't really have a choice over it. And if you have to, I do suggest a little bit of water. Like if you wanted to keep some water on hand, and the reason I say that is you can wet down the fur just a little bit. So I'm just going to use my iron. This is just to push the fur down, and it'll also help with, it'll help push the fur down, and it'll also help me get up some extra faux. As you see, I got some strands right there. So what we're doing right now is I'm just pushing off any excess, and luckily it does come right off. No big deal. Is it just me, or does that look like a Fortnite badge? So first of all, what you need to understand about this is, like I said, when you're lining it up, you want to make sure the two parts are lined up perfectly, because if you don't line them up, you're going to be pissing yourself off and it's not going to work right. That's why I say when you're first starting out, you might want to practice on simple stuff. Like if you're going to make a quilt, you just want to make sure that the sides, like right here, you want to just be like, I'm going to line that up, sew that down, and then you can pull it and it's going to look like probably, no, it's going to have to be sewn like inside out on each side. So you're going to sew it like that, and so when you pull it, it should like line up near perfect. There's all kinds of ways that you can do it. I'm working on a quilt. I haven't gotten back to it. So with the A part, what I'm going to do is right here. We're going to check where it's at. And honestly, it's just easier if you trim up the edges, because if you don't, you're just going to be more and more annoyed that you didn't do it in the first place. So tempting to be like, this is where part 3 starts. Carpal Tunnel Center, how can I be of service? This is Mark speaking. Hello. If you don't talk, I can't help you. So far this is what we've got, and there's still a little bit more work to do, and I thought I would stop right here for the video because there's so much that can be done and so much that I think is, I mean, there's just a lot of work. That's really all it is, and I want to cut this up into several videos just because, you know, I'm already going to have to edit a lot. But this is what I've done so far. As you saw in the sewing part, my machine kept clogging up and I don't know why, so this is what I'm going to do real quick. We're going to line this up with each side and make sure what's what right now. And just going to see where we are. Now, you want to make sure that things are lined up as good as possible. Like as you see right here, this is what you want. While right here, that's easily adjustable. When I get down to it, I'll probably end up trimming off a good portion of that. I go down this side first, and then as I go up, what I'll do is once this gets down to here, I will probably sew this up, and then I'm going to trim it, see where it's at, because, well, I can go ahead and trim a little bit. As you see, a lot of this, once I said before, you know, earlier, that a lot of times what you need to do is you want to trim this up so it'll, when you throw it back in a machine, your sewing machine, it will sit a little bit better, and it's along the seams. You don't commonly see the seams. You're not going to look for the seams, and that's the best way to check it out. And as you see, it's going to come down, and we're just going to trim off this little piece. Okay, so that actually is a little cleaner. It's not going to be, I'm not looking for perfection right now, but we will get down to, make sure that's good, that's fine. So that's where we're at right now. This will more than likely, oh, I probably trimmed off too much just now, but that ain't the end of the world. It's still going to go around, and this part is probably still going to get even shorter, just by like, probably 1/10 of an inch or some crap, but I'm going to complete this tail, and then I might do another video. If anybody's interested in seeing, I've got one other. This was a little bit easier. This was just because I had some spare fabric sitting around, and I was like, hey, why not? And I wanted to see how hard it would be to do, and it wasn't hard. It wasn't even remotely hard. It was just that it was time consuming, if anything. And this is more of a generic tail. It's a lot easier to sew. As you see how it goes, it starts up here, it goes all the way around. How well can you see that on camera? So that's easier. It goes down, it has more of a circular situation right here, so when I would go around, I would go all the way up, and right here. So one thing I will say, I've probably talked about this in past videos, when you stitch up the back of a tail, the best place to have a place, so like, you have to stitch these up all the way. You can do some other funky stuff, like right here, it is possible. Like, Paul Star does a thing where they have their tabs, where you would, your belt tabs, they have a way that they can get back into the tail if you need to, which isn't a bad idea, but that's not what I do. If I need to get back into a tail, it's coming apart. I make them like this on purpose because this tail is meant to last. So right about where you see, okay, I don't know how well you can see this B right here, but right about where this is, I would probably put, yep, probably right about here is where I'm gonna like keep an opening. I'm gonna go start, I'm gonna stop right here, and I'm gonna jump probably right about here. We want at least a good 2-inch gap, and then we'll continue all the way around, where I'll do that, and we'll stop, jump, go up, stitch the tabs on. What you realistically want to do is you want to try to put the tabs on first before you do that. So you want to try to get this on, you figure out, okay, where are they going to sit? So they're going to sit at the edge right here. Do not put them on each side, do not put them right here. You got to think about, how is this tail going to sit when it's opened up all the way and it's sitting like that? That is your best option. A prime example, actually. You see, this right here is a very bad example of what I did wrong, because as you see, there's so much of a gap right here. You don't want this gap. You want this to be closed. Now, could I take this apart and refix it? Sure could, but I'm not going to. As you see, do not do this. This is a bad example. You want to make sure. Sew it close to the seam right here, the main seam, the seam that goes to the back, because that way it'll stay tight. You want it tight. If you don't, you're going to be looking at this going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Okay, sorry. It's going to go back and forth. Now, could I probably do some other stuff with that tail? Yeah. I've got plenty of that faux fur, too. I've got some more of that. And I know exactly where to buy more if I ever wanted to. But enough is enough. We are going to stop right here. I'm going to stop right here. And I'm going to continue this in the next video. As per usual, if you're new to my channel and this is the first or second video of this series that you want to watch and see how this is all made, I'll give step-by-step instructions about everything I can. If you have any questions about my work or anything that I do, by all means, if you want to buy this off me, let me know and I can hook you up as soon as possible, and I will, we can just do it up all on Etsy, and I'll make it a custom order. I'll say it's a blue and black custom order tail, and you're literally watching me put it together again. But I will put down it's a refurbished tail. All sales are final. Remember that. So again, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and come back for more videos anytime you like. And until then, later taters.